Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to ThoughtLoad. I'm your host, Tyler, and since I know your time is valuable, let's get into today's episode. So, today I wanted to do a little 75 hard update as well as talk a little bit about the what I believe is a separation factor. So, back in the beginning of when we started ThoughtLoad, one of the first episodes that I did was on 75 hard program and self-discipline or discipline in general. So I'm not going to go through again all the pillars of 75 hard. Go back and check that episode out. Again, it was one of our first thought loads that we came out with. So check that out if you're unfamiliar with the program and come back to this one. So have not completed the program yet. And due to a variety of reasons, initially my big struggle was abstaining from alcohol for 75 days. Obviously, some of the other things that were required to be done daily as part of the program were difficult as well, but I found the alcohol component to be the biggest factor. And now that's not a problem for me anymore. I've just noticed scheduling my time effectively and focusing, which I talked about last week on ThoughtLoad, has been the biggest struggle. So we're going to restart again here through the holiday season, which is going to be hard, but it's meant to be. So we're going to be doing that. And I think it's a great thing too. There was another ThoughtLoad episode a few weeks ago that I did about how you can salvage your 2022 goals and carry some momentum into 2023. So I think by restarting this and going all in on it now, before January 1st, because I feel like it's really easy this time of year to put those things off until New Year's, make those New Year's resolutions. But again, that's essentially wasting, well, at this point, 2 to 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so of progress. And I don't want to do that. So I think that's a good thing to keep in mind if you're struggling with a specific goal that you had that you wanted to accomplish this year, and you've said to yourself, it can wait another 3 weeks. It can wait till January 1. I would advise to get started now. Anyways, so that's my update on 75 hard. And real quick, wanted to kind of talk about some things about the separation factor, or how to win, or however you want to phrase it. But I think a lot of the things that I've shared, that Nico and I have shared from other sources that we like, I think of David Goggins, Tony Robbins, Cam Hanes. All of those people are, for lack of a better word, freaks. They're just really damn good at what they do. And at least for me, wanting to be a professional golfer, wanting to achieve other things, it's been difficult to do that or get on the road to that, because I have the picture of them in my mind that I'm trying to emulate and trying to be. And because that looks so far away, it just impedes on progress. And I think that's a good point to bring up that we talked about with Emily Sander a little bit in our last guest episode that we posted a few weeks ago, is just the idea of comparison. And when we take stock in what other people have done and have accomplished without having experienced the time, the effort, and the sacrifice that those individuals have put in to get where they are, it's really hard for us to, or I should say, it's really easy for us to say, that'll never be me, or I can't achieve that. But again, that has to be something that you want to do. And it has to be something that you're passionate about, because it's not going to happen overnight. And I think a common thing when I do get in the social media weeds of reading ridiculous comments from people on posts from these individuals that are literally the best at what they do, is a lot of people say that they're an overnight success. And that is the biggest falsehood that I've ever seen. Just because from our point of view, we've never heard about somebody, then all of a sudden they're the biggest thing, in the state or in the country or in the world at one specific thing, or in an industry or in a area of expertise. They didn't just wake up that day and were great. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of discipline. It took a lot of sacrifice and effort for them to get where they are, for them to separate themselves from all the rest of the people that were trying to achieve what they were trying to achieve. And so I think it's important to keep in mind when we do follow individuals that are the best at what they do, whether you want to call them influencers or professional athletes or just human specimens in some cases, it's hard to separate the fact that it's going to take a long time for us to get there. And it might not be forever or a super, super long time. It just depends on what we're willing to do. And when we're willing to do what others aren't, we're willing to have what others will never get. And when I look at golf in general, I saw a couple great quotes. And this is just some of the mindset of what these greats have. So a great quote from Ben Hogan is, "There isn't enough daylight in any one day to practice all the shots that you need to." And this is coming from a guy that was the best in his time at what he did. And he's saying there still isn't enough time for me to practice everything that I need to in order to stay great or stay the best. And I think when we can tap into and we can see what these individuals are thinking and what their mindsets are, that should just be a guide or an example of what we need to develop day by day, get 1% closer to that each day. Because otherwise, we're just going to sit in the same cycle that I've sat in for the last however many years of just wanting something to happen, wanting to get better, but not putting the time, not sacrificing, not putting the effort in. And so when you look back on 2022 and you look at the changes that you implemented, the growth that you experienced, don't be down on yourself like I've been, because all that's going to do is impede your growth, halt your momentum going into 2023. And so to wrap up here with another great golf quote, again, just to put in perspective the mindset that you need to have when you're really trying to achieve greatness, if that is what you want out of your life. It said, every time you stay out late, every time you sleep in, every time you miss a practice session, every time you don't give 100%, you make it that much easier for another golfer to beat you. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll catch you next time on ThoughtLoad. And as always, begin the duel, win the day.